with them. Can you talk about first what this fund is? What is your organization? What's your group?
Well, Rainbow Push Citizenship Education Fund is an extension of Rainbow Push. So when I say chairmanship, it's really related to Rainbow Push in the works that we do as a national organization.
Okay, great. Can you talk about, the Reverend talked a little bit about that this is not just about this one particular sector of business, even though the name may symbolize that. Can you talk about the different industries that you're really trying to touch on here and the impact you want to have?
Well, as you know, first of all, this is our 25th anniversary on Wall Street. And Reverend Jackson gives us the moral authority to go beyond Wall Street. We are a team, we're on the ground, we're a national organization, and we're standing on his shoulders. But because Wall Street, has NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, investment bankers are headquarters here. Many of them have investments throughout the country in other business sectors, as well as many other industries. So when we come to Wall Street, we touch everyone. We touch all industries.
And when you say touch them, can you talk about the purpose? I know that there's a lot of things happening today and meetings and forums. Can you talk about what the ultimate goal is here and the objective?
Well, I think Reverend elaborated on it earlier, is that what we're interested in doing is increasing the diverse spend across the board in all industries. Just as a background, we have an office in Detroit, Michigan that focuses on the automotive industry. In Silicon Valley, obviously, is the fact that we focus on Silicon Valley for opportunities. And we also have an office in DC as related to telecommunications, in Georgia, where we work primarily in the transportation and other industries, retail industries. So we are a national organization, and with that footprint and with the work that Reverend has done, he has assembled a team that has been able to focus individually and collectively on making sure that we drive the fact that we need more African American and minority businesses in all sectors, in all businesses, all professional services, procurement, in the C-suite, across the board.
And is there, like, just starting off this morning, is there a particular sector that's been really focused on? Is there a specific instance, a trailblazer, anything that you guys are really honing in on? I know there is a theme this year as well.
Well, as I said, in the different markets, like in Detroit, we've been there for over 20 years. Reverend has been advocating for over 50 years. And what we do, for example, in Detroit, we have a scorecard where we look at the various companies that operate in that industry, the manufacturers, and we rate them. And we rate them based upon marketing, advertising, C-suites, philanthropy, dealerships, and procurement. And we have somewhat of a duplicity in other markets where we look at all of the companies in those markets and we see how we can grow. With automotive, for example, we're looking in the EV space. As you know, that's the area of much concern and much growth. In New York, which is really, I don't want to wander too far from New York because this is the Wall Street Project. And we're looking at opportunities for African Americans. We've seen a tremendous growth since Reverend formed this Wall Street Project 25 years ago, thanks to Mr. Grazzo and what's his name, the CEO from Citigroup, Sandy Weil, and others. So this is the epicenter for economics. So I don't want to deviate too far from that because we still have a shortage of African American investment stockbrokers at many of these companies. We still are not participating in pension funds. We're still not participating in the many billions of SPACs, special purchase acquisition companies that are being formed across this country. So today, we recognize those upon which shoulders we stand, So we honoring John Rogers from Area Capital, who's one of the top finance companies in the country. We honor Alan Greenspan, who, as you know, was the former chairman of the Federal Reserve, who spoke at Wall Street several years ago, along with Bill Clinton and the CEO of AT&T. And we honor BNY Mellon for their contributions in diversity and the fact that they are advocating for inclusion across the board in their financial transactions, et cetera. So, you know, we're here to make a difference, but I want to make sure that you understand that we're standing on Reverend Jackson's shoulders, and he has trained us well, and we are carrying on his vision as he continues to lead.
Okay. John Graves, thank you so much for your time and for sharing. Is there anything I didn't ask that you would like to share?
Well, I would like to do, just as I close, thank you, first of all. But as you know, the investment banks, that's where the big transactions occur. And I won't name any companies, but that's where the billions are spent, both in the pension funds, mergers and acquisitions, the SPACs, as I mentioned earlier. And we have to be a part of that process. We must have a seat at the table. With the pension funds, there are many minorities that contribute to that fund. And when we cannot manage that, when we cannot offer services, whether it be accounting or legal or whatever, it's a discredit and it's not a reciprocal relationship. And Reverend Jackson and Rainbow Push will be looking heavily at that area. And we thank you this morning, and we thank you for all you do.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time, and I hope that everything goes well for the remainder of the conference.